All right, this is a video for Sarah, who is asking for a love reading, so we'll see what we can come up with here. I am going to be using Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck, and I possibly will draw some Oracle decks by a deck of the same author. All right. Okay, so I have to warn you, Sarah. Oftentimes, these love readings don't come up with very lovey cards, and it's hard for me to presume. I'm guessing that you're not in a relationship at the moment, but there might be somebody that you're seeking or that you have your eye on and you're curious about. So I'm going to make that presumption in the reading. So I drew the Ten of Cups in reversed. Now I see the Ten of Cups face up as a fairy tale ending. Like this is like the Disney movie, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, there's a couple and two children holding two children standing like on their family homestead underneath a rainbow. And in this one, there's a man and a woman nursing a child or cuddling with a child there with the 10 cups overhead. So what I see that card in the face up position is meaning a fairy tale ending. However, in the reverse position, I see this as more of a card of disappointment, or disenchantment rather would be a better word to describe this card. Like we had something and we came really, really close to achieving it, or we did achieve what we wanted, but it just didn't turn out the way that we expected it to. It was what we wanted, but it didn't live up to the luster that we had initially envisioned it to have. It was anticlimactic or just plain old disappointing. Now, I see the people in your life or the potential partner is working hard at something, and I don't see him as being necessarily disappointed with the fruits of his labor, but I see him as working hard. He's focused on his work and he's putting his energy into that, and he's not super focused in the area of love and romance at the moment, and it doesn't look like whatever he's working on is coming to fruition as quickly as he'd like either. Now, what draws you to this person or divides you is this could be somebody in the workplace. I drew the Four of Pentacles, and I see the Four of Pentacles is also a card of like a financial attainment, or not financial attainment, but rather material attainment. So this could be somebody like in like a this could be somebody at work, or somebody that you know through work or through some job or some type of arrangement where you guys are working at some sort of craft or skill together. It's some sort of workplace. It could be somebody at any workplace. It could be someone like that you have a relationship through something that you've worked collectively towards together. Now, some potential outcomes here. So I'm drawing a lot of pentacles here, which is interesting, and I don't necessarily see this as a suit of love. I see it as potentially a suit of gifts, but not necessarily a suit of love. The next card that I drew as a potential outcome would be the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and I see this as also just like the Ten of Cups in the reverse position would be like disenchantment in the relationship. This would be like a disenchantment in the home or in the workplace or something materially. Like we became focused on our material possessions or our belongings, and it hasn't turned out quite the way that we wanted it, or we got all those things but we're left disenchanted and wanting more. Which is fairly common once we reach material attainment. I think that it's human nature to strive for more and want better and want the next best thing, and it's never really enough. But this is a card of attainment. However, I don't see this being the type of attainment that you're looking for, and that would be why I would read that card in the reverse position. And below, I also drew the Nine of Pentacles in reversed. And I see this as also being a card of like, this is the work that we put in before we reach that attainment, that final stretch of work before we reach the attainment, or like I think some people might interpret it as the chaos or the storm that pursues before we reach the completion of the cycle. And I see like what this is telling me is like we might have our, to sum this reading up for you, or to put it shortly, we might have our eye on the wrong person, or the person that we're invested in is more focused on something else, or more focused on his material belongings or his work than he is on a relationship at the time. Or maybe this is somebody that you were in a relationship with in the past that you thought was going to turn out well, but there was something materially that stood in your way. There is something like it doesn't necessarily have to be financially, but there is something, some kind of physical, tangible thing that stood between you and the completion of this relationship. And it looks like it was good in some ways, but it wasn't exactly what you were searching for, or it won't be what you're searching for if this is something that you're currently ensuing. So we'll draw a couple of oracle cards here too. This is a new deck, and I'm going to do my best to read it at face value. It's by the same author. I really like these cards. They're real pretty. But I might need to use the book to interpret these still, because they're not always so obvious, and you'll see why. This is called the Dreamscape Oracle. So anyhow, like the conclusion that I would come to there is to question the motive of your partner, or where they're actually at, or whoever it is that you're ensuing. I see them as being more focused on their material things than you, and they could take you along with them. That's not to say that it couldn't work out in that way, but I don't think that would be the type of outcome that you would be seeking. I don't think that this person is necessarily the right one for you. If you're seeking this 10 of Cups fairy tale ending, I would look elsewhere, because this will lead you to Pentacles world, which is a world of materiality. And that's right for some people, but I'm not sensing that for you. So we'll draw a couple of these oracle cards here. Where are we at? 7 minutes? I'll give you 3 of them. The first one is the Palomino. I see the Palomino as it's like a stallion. This is a card of forward movement and advancement, and I think that kind of speaks to what I'm saying here. We need to keep moving forward and pushing ahead. The next card I drew is the Scales. This is a card of justice. I see us getting what we deserve in the future, but we have to push forward in order to get there. And finally, I drew the Word. And how I interpreted this card initially, because I used this deck once before, and how I interpreted the card was like it's the beginning, like I interpreted it biblically, like in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. However, that's not really how the guidebook told me to interpret this, and I thought it was interesting. But it's pretty much like write your own story, and it's like a card, more so a card of a manifestation. So put your mind to what it is that you want, and don't make any compromises. Don't settle for the material things if that's not what you're looking for. If you're focused on someone who is materially inclined, you don't need to settle for them, because something bigger and better is on its way. It just might not be this month. Really hope this was helpful to you, Sarah, and I will see you next time.